to Paper Pages and Possibilities. My name is Christina. I am glad to have you here today. I've decided to possibly, most likely, start doing some more than one video a week. I've started to rack up a list of ideas that I don't think I'll run out in the very near future. Book tags are definitely one of those things that is adding to that list. But for today, I did want to do a little bit of a mini haul and then talk about, I've been thinking about my bookshelf, like how I want to maintain my bookshelf, what I want to keep on the shelf, what I want to get rid of, that kind of thing. So those are the things that I will talk about today. First off, for the haul, I got, let's see, this is 4 books. These are from Book Outlet. They were having a pretty good sale a couple weeks ago, or maybe more than a couple weeks, and I couldn't resist, especially because I found a couple of books that I really had my eye on, like 2 that I had my eye on, 2 that were gifts, which I won't actually show here, and then 2 that I got just because I needed to kind of round out for the shipping, free shipping. So first I will show you the 2 that really I was interested in. The first one is called Several People Are Typing. This one has been on my TBR for quite some time. I discovered it when I was doing some research or exploring ergodic literature. And if you haven't seen my video on ergodic literature, I will link it down below, but short and sweet, ergodic literature is a novel or a story that doesn't follow the typical story format. It plays with the boundaries of what a novel is and what it looks like. So in this case, this one, Several People Are Typing, is a story written in Slack, if I believe. Yeah. So yeah, this is a story that is written via Slack messages. And if you look, it's basically just a bunch of Slack messages the whole way through. And so it's looking to be a very interesting story on top of all that. So I'll read what it says here. If you are a work from home person, you will probably really relate to this. So it says it's a work from home comedy where work from home meets WTF. Gerald, a mid-level employee of a New York-based public relations firm, has been uploaded into the company's internal Slack channels. At least his consciousness has. His colleagues assume it is an elaborate gag to exploit the new work-from-home policy, but now that Gerald's productivity is through the roof, his bosses are only too happy to let him work from wherever he says he is. Faced with the looming abyss of a disembodied life online, Gerald enlists his co-worker to help him escape and to find out what happened to his body. But the longer Gerald stays in the void, the more alluring and absurd his reality becomes. Meanwhile, Gerald's colleagues have PR catastrophes of their own to handle in the real world. Their biggest client, a boutique dog food company, is in the midst of recalling a bad batch of food that's allegedly poisoning Pomeranians nationwide. And their CEO suspects someone is sabotaging his office furniture. And if Gerald gets to work from home all the time, why can't everyone? Is true love possible between 2 people when one is just a line of text in an app? And what in the world does dusty stick emoji mean? Hilarious, irreverent, and wholly original, Several People Are Typing is a satire of both the virtual office and contemporary life, and a perfect antidote to the way we live now. So I'm very eager to read this. This might go to the very top of my TBR list. 1, because it should be fairly fast because of how it's written, but 2, like, I really relate to the work from home. You know, my day job is working from home, and I think a lot of people that I interact with are also people who work from home. Next up, the other one that was a definite is called Maktub. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly. This is a companion to The Alchemist, which is a book that I had read earlier this year. I found really fascinating. Talks about personal legend as a way to kind of think about your life and how you want to act in your life. So I couldn't resist because I really liked The Alchemist, so I'm very curious to see what I can get out of this book. And like the cover is gorgeous. I love like the design and the color scheme. It's just beautiful. And on the back it says, "Today, somewhere, a treasure awaits you." So just overall beautiful. I will read the book blurb here. Let's see. So, an essential companion to the inspirational classic The Alchemist, filled with timeless stories of reflection and rediscovery. From one of the greatest writers of our age comes a collection of stories and parables unlocking the mysteries of the human condition. Gathered from Paulo Coelho's daily column from the same name, Maktub, meaning "it is written," invites seekers on a journey of faith, self-reflection, and transformation. As Paula explains, Maktub is not a book of advice, but an exchange of experiences. Each story offers an illuminated path to see life and the lives of our fellow people around the world in new ways, allowing us to tap into universal truths about our collective and individual humanity. As Paula writes, a man who seeks only the light and hands all his responsibilities to others will never find enlightenment. A man who keeps his eyes fixed only on the sun will end up blind. These wise tales offer the perspective of talking snakes, old women climbing mountains, disciples querying their masters, Buddha in dialogue, mysterious hermits, and many saints addressing the mysteries of the universe. Following the path of his previous internationally best-selling works, this thoughtful collection of short, inspirational pieces will engage seekers of all ages and backgrounds. So, this is another like very short read. Let's see how many pages is it. 205, and like there's not a lot on each page, so this is going to be another fairly short read. But if it's anything like The Alchemist, there's going to be a lot of underlining and highlighting and bookmarking, because I really liked The Alchemist. So those are the two that were definitely on my list. This one was kind of sorta. I think it's officially on my TBR, but it's not the highest priority. But it was on sale, so I got it. And that is A Tempest of Tea. This one's by Hafsa Faisal. And this description says, in the streets of White Roaring, Arthi Casimir is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike in an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling on some of the city's most skilled outcasts, Arthi hatches a plan to infiltrate the sinister, glittering vampire society known as the Ethereum. But not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthi finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. From the New York Times bestselling author of We Hunt the Flame comes the first book in a hotly anticipated fantasy duology, teeming with romance and revenge, led by an orphan girl willing to do whatever it takes to save her self-made kingdom. Dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy. This is Hafsa Faisal, Better Than Ever. So, looking at the cover, I did not remember that this was vampires, but that's likely what originally got it on my TBR because I'm very fascinated with vampires. So I'm looking forward to that sometime in the future, probably next year. Last, this was one that just struck me as interesting, an interesting blurb as I was looking something to fill out the cart. And that is called Exadelic. And this one is by John Evans. So it says on the front, the world's most powerful AI has awakened to sentience and decided you're its worst enemy. So it kind of goes like, I've been kind of following the AI kick lately. But here's what it says. When an unconventional offshoot of the US military trains an artificial intelligence in the dark arts that humanity calls black magic, it learns how to hack the fabric of reality itself. It can teleport matter. It can confer immunity to bullets, and it decides that the obscure Silicon Valley middle manager Adrian Ross is the primary threat to its existence. Soon Adrian is on the run, wanted by every authority, with no idea how or why he could be a threat. His predicament seems hopeless, his future non-existent. But when he investigates the AI and its creators, he discovers his problems are even stranger than they seem, and unearths revelations that will propel him on a journey and a love story across worlds, eras, and everything, everywhere, all at once. So, another fascinating sci-fi, speculative fiction, probably be classified as. So another one for next year. So those are the books that I have in my little mini haul. In terms of my book maintenance, my shelf maintenance, I currently only have this one shelf here. The rest of my office is like craft supplies, because that's one of my obsessions before getting back into reading. I am going to work on, in 2025, expanding my shelf space. But at the same time, it did make me think about how I want to maintain my shelf. Like, I don't want it to get really out of hand to where it's overrolling with the number of unread books that I have waiting for me. I want to focus on reading what I have. So this has been mentioned in a lot of booktubers conversations for the past month or two as we're getting into 2025, and I think I'm going to follow suit in some way. I am definitely going to focus on reading more of what I have versus getting more books. I haven't decided how strict I'm going to be on that just yet, but I am leaning toward at least doing a book ban for a little bit. I can't promise how long. I'm probably going to put a little more thought to it and maybe set myself an actual some actual guidelines. But so that would be in an attempt to like clear out all my backlogged TBR. And in terms of what I want to keep on my shelves, this is something else I was starting to put a lot of thought to. And I realized what I want on my shelf is things that are really meaningful to me. So I'm thinking I want each book to really earn its place on my shelves. So they kind of get a default pass by being TBR. Not always, but if it's unread, I will leave it alone for now. But for the ones that I have read, I've decided that I'm only going to keep those books that I have rated 5 stars or have some sort of personal significance to me, such as the books that I got from the Oklahoma authors last month. Since I got those signed and addressed to me and I met the authors, those have some personal significance. So those deserve a place on my shelf. So, but if it's not a 5 star and it's not some personally significant in any other way to me, then it's gonna go. So I have started doing a little bit of weeding, weeding some of the books out, and I'll actually show you some of the books that I am going to unhaul. Wasn't planning this, but I figured why not. So, let's see here. Yeah, quite a few. Okay. So I've got 7 books that I am going to unhaul based on that thought process. Some of them I have already covered. A lot of them I've already read. 2 I have not, and the others are just not 5 stars. So this one is a very short book. It's really just a kind of a short story in the world of His Dark Materials. Really like the His Dark Materials series. That one I will probably try to get, but this one right here, the story itself was like, it didn't seem that stand out, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on to someone who might like it. Next, Natural History of Dragons. I did read this, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't a 5 star. So this will go to someone who will enjoy it. Next, we have Divine Rivals. Again, really enjoyed it. Do want to read the sequel, but it was not a 5 star. Mostly, I was really frustrated with how this ended, so I may keep it. You know, I'm second guessing myself. I think because it's a duology, I am going to keep only until I read the sequel and then decide as a group if they are worthy. But by itself, Divine Rivals was a 4 star, not a 5, so by itself it would not stay, but it gets a little reprieve until I read the next one. All right, next up, another one I read, Italo Calvino's If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler. This is one of those books that is ergodic literature, and it was good. It was fun, fascinating, but I had a good time with it. Probably won't read it again. So, all right. Next we have Donna Tartt, The Secret History. This was definitely fascinating. I enjoyed it. Not really my usual genre. I see it more as literary fiction. Set at a college, it's got like dark academia a little bit, but the story itself is really about, you know, a group of people and how they deal with the feelings of guilt and being part of someone's death. And like it reminds me, and I thought about this long after I read it, makes me think of I think it's Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, because if I remember, if that's the right title, that one is also about, it's either that one or Brothers Karamazov. It's been way too long. But the book is, the Dostoevsky book is also about like the after effects psychologically of killing someone, like how that really affects you, the guilt that you deal with, the like, you know, everything that you go through, not just externally, but just in your own head. So that's, I saw that kind of connection here. But other than that, like, it was a good story. I'm glad I read it, but it wasn't something that I don't think I will read again. And it wasn't a 5 star. So this one is going. All right. This one I have not read. I got it. It was talked about quite a bit on YouTube videos earlier this year. I went back and I looked at it, and The story wasn't on the back of the book, like it's just not compelling enough for me. It doesn't really have much of the things that I look for in a book. So because of that, I decided I will pass this on to someone who will like it and focus on something that I would much more enjoy or much more look forward to. And then finally, we've got Sherlock Holmes versus Cthulhu. I got this when I was deep into H.P. Lovecraft. It really struck me because of, like, I wanted to see what the connection was, like how much it went into the Cthulhu mythos and all that good stuff. And I started reading it, but I did not get very far. I found it very dry, very boring. Like, I couldn't get to... I couldn't get far enough in for the plot to really get going, enough to keep me into it, so I'm just gonna pass this on. Alright, so little mini unhaul, little bit of thought about the bookshelves for the rest of the year and going into next year. So just a lot of different things I've been thinking about. Figured I'd share it with y'all, and I will have my next video on Tuesday as usual. And like I said, we'll probably start doing videos a little bit more frequently to get through like some of the ideas that I've been wanting to share, talk about, along with the books that I'm reading. That is it for today. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end if you did. If you like the content today, I would love a like. If you would like to see more of this type of bookish content from me, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And if you know any other people who are bookish who would be interested in this content, feel free to share. As I always say, it is more the merrier. I'm working on growing this community, and just the more people I can talk to about books, the happier I am. But for now, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.